I've been in the danger zone.
Hello, you beautiful bastards, and welcome to the second ever Danger Zone podcast. I am your host, Daniel Kelly. These are my minions, Ryan Palmer.
Hello.
And the one we like to call Sensational Himpy.
Hello.
If you heard our pilot episode and are now listening to this show, you must be glutton for punishment. If you didn't hear the first show, you need to drop everything you're doing and visit www.thedangerzonepodcast.com, where you can stream it, download it, and vigorously complain about it. Whilst you're there, make sure to have a look at Ryan's PWG Battle of Los Angeles Night 1 review, where he'll make sweet love to your mind with his insightful thoughts and opinions on all things gorilla. Are you ready, boys? Let's go in the Danger Zone.
I've been in the danger zone.
We begin this week with a look at the 21st of January episode of Monday Night Raw, which was the last show before the Royal Rumble pay-per-view this coming Sunday. Let's get this show on the road by discussing the happenings involving CM Punk and The Rock. What do you reckon, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. Less Rock making fun of people, and it was a lot more serious. I thought a lot more serious tone.
Did go serious this week, definitely.
Yeah. I suppose to start with, we've got to talk about the opening with Vicky and Paul Heyman, who come out, and they're saying like he's banned from the building, and he's not allowed in, and the police will stop him. They had that backstage bit with The Rock, and that was, I didn't like the backstage bits. It was a bit like...
How bad was the bald policeman? It was terrible.
They're all
I thought
pretty...
the three police officers trying desperately not to laugh. That was pretty amusing.
They did corpse at one point.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. It was just, they all like loved The Rock, it seems, and they weren't there to do that. How many policemen are going to be that unprofessional? And it's, it was just stupid. And he had his ticket, that policeman, and...
Right. That obviously gets him access to backstage and the ramp and the ring. And...
Yeah. That didn't make any sense when The Rock came out later and did that. But we'll get that later. So I suppose Punk had his promo in the ring later on. Again, I thought it was a good promo and everything, well delivered. He didn't really say anything new.
I thought it was an intense promo. He had meaning in everything he said.
He did definitely.
The bags under his eyes made him look, quite frankly, scary.
He delivered it really well. I mean, I can't really. I don't think it'll be that memorable. Like, I don't. Like, in a few months, it's not going to be.
No, it's not a pipe bomb, is it? Do you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. So I mean, that was okay. I mean, and then later on, that's when Punk was in the skybox and Heyman come out. I thought he was really good.
Heyman was good.
Yeah. I mean,
I agree.
Really, really good. And then Rock came out and told him to get out, and he had his ticket with him. Heyman actually did say, "How does that ticket allow you to be in the ring?" Which was a good point.
He was right.
Yeah, it's like the policeman just said, "Well, you can have my ticket, and you can go in, but I'm still, surely they said, well, I've still got to arrest you, even if you have my ticket." Maybe The Rock actually killed all three of them and just nicked his ticket, and that was, his excuse. But that was just, I'm sure they could have got that around that a bit better.
I also like the way the policemen, they weren't standing side by side. They were standing conveniently so they could all be seen face on.
Yeah. I can't believe they haven't evolved with these backstage things, but... Oh well.
The Shield.
Yes.
And The Rock. What do you reckon?
I really liked that the Shield came out.
I thought that's the biggest rub they've had so far.
Definitely. I mean, and that really elevated the segment. Not that it was bad; it was a good segment. But then when the Shield came out, it really put it over the edge for me, and it was like the highlight of the show. What I thought as well, you got to give props to The Rock really for this, because he allowed them to overwhelm him pretty easily. I mean, he had he had a mini little comeback. He punched him a few times, but Ambrose was the one I think took him down with a blow to the back or something.
The Rock spitting blood afterwards was a little added bonus as well. That sort of gave it that bit more of a rub.
Someone said to me today he'd look like Magikarp. was he was puffing his blood out. But
Yeah.
I thought that was a fair assessment.
Yeah.
One thing I'd like to add, I think if you were in the crowd and the lights went out, you'd be pretty gutted it wasn't the Undertaker.
Yeah. That would have been interesting. I mean, I don't know why the Shield now have operational use over the lights. But I don't know why that had to be done. I don't know why they're now using lights from the last week or so. But I don't know. I think it'd have been better if their just music had hit and they'd come out.
Did they use lights last week?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Yeah, I definitely remember lights from last week. I think, pretty sure.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I mean, yeah.
Where do we think we're going at the Rumble then with Punk and Rock? Because obviously the Shield now can't interfere, or Punk will lose his title. I've got a theory that going by the Brad Maddox segment with Heyman, I've got a feeling that Maddox is going to interfere and cost Rock the title.
Yeah.
I think Punk's going to retain, and that's the way they'll get around it.
Mm.
And Rock now looks weak enough that he's been done over by the Shield.
Yeah. What do you think they'll do then with like the Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania? Do you think they'll change the main event of like the possible Rock Cena rematch for the title, or?
I really hope that's not going to be.
I'm not. To be honest, I'm not too sure even if they know yet.
No.
That's it's up in the air. There's so many ways they could go.
Yeah.
As long as I'd be happy to see Rock. If Rock wins the title at the Rumble, I would be absolutely thrilled to see Rock Cena at Elimination Chamber. So it doesn't have to happen at WrestleMania.
Yes.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I do believe now more than ever that Punk might actually retain the title, which I never really thought at any other point. I still think he's going to lose, but I believe it more now than I did. So I don't know what direction they could go from there with that. Like, I still think Punk will probably lose it if he was to keep it, maybe at Elimination Chamber. But I don't know.
I don't agree. I think Punk's going to retain.
I was pretty certain that The Rock was going to take it, but now I'm really not sure. I think it could go either way, to be honest. I couldn't call it.
I'd love.
Go on. Sorry, Ryan.
I'd love him to keep it though until Mania. I think his title reign deserves to go on till Mania. Just because I don't know, it's come quite important now. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
So I think it deserves to go till Mania. I wish it was Rock Punk at Mania. I wish that was the only match they were having, but I mean, it's not going to be that. But but I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But I expect Rock to win.
Yeah. Right then. Let's get on to the Beat the Clock challenge.
Okay.
Which was a running feature throughout the show. What do you make of that, boys?
Well, the matches were okay.
I've got to be honest. I enjoyed the matches. I thought there wasn't a bad match between them.
Yeah.
I thought they were all solid.
I enjoyed the Cesaro Orton ending with the checking the clock.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite clever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't make Cesaro look too weak either, because it made it look like as if he got caught.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I was shocked though, that he won with an RKO out of nowhere. I mean, you know.
Who could have seen that coming?
I know, yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah. What I noticed, like, quite, I don't know if this happens all the time in their matches, just like general Raw matches, but the clock was like at 9 minutes, and then they cut back, and it's like 4 minutes on the clock or something like that. And there was so much of the match you lose through the adverts.
Yeah, I'll tell you one way I noticed that before was when you watched the old SmackDown Iron Man match between Lesnar and Angle.
Yeah.
If you watch the uncut version, it's so much a better match.
Yeah.
Because of the lack of adverts.
It is a weird, I don't know, just think about that. It's a weird place to have adverts in your matches, if you think about it. I mean, the whole point of it is the middle is supposed to be as important as other parts, because it's, used to build the match, get the crowd, like, supporting the babyface and thing. And I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's like missing half an hour of a film or something. I don't know. I mean, they have so many other segments where they have so many. I suppose it's just how they are in America. They have so many, like commercial breaks or whatever, that they've got to be included. But I don't know. It seems really weird that they would actually cut matches, so short with them. Like
I do agree.
Yeah.
It's a small criticism I do have of the match is that it was quite predictable that Randy Orton was going to win, because they're not going to put him under on Raw 2 weeks running to
No.
mid-carders.
Yeah.
Especially after he lost to Wade Barrett. Just above average Wade Barrett last week.
Yeah.
But like you said, at least Cesaro didn't look bad with the way it ended. So.
No,
Yeah.
he just got caught out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I think Randy Orton is pretty undervalued in WWE. I think
exactly the
he's
same.
the most consistent wrestlers on the whole roster.
I suppose with his suspension, you can understand why they reined back on him a little with his pushes. But I mean, as a babyface, he's easily the one I like the most out of any of the more pushed ones. I mean, his character.
If you had to pick to be a babyface, you would pick to be Randy Orton.
Yeah. I mean, his people like say he's boring and things like that, but it's his own kind of character still. I mean, I think gets a lot of unfair stick, really. I mean, he's easily one of their best main eventers in the ring, and I don't know, I don't mind his character. I mean, he's got a coolness to him. I think it's just, I don't know, as he's quite a good-looking guy, a lot of people don't like him, and he's a WWE guy, which kind of comes into it, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it does work against him. Just wait though until he turns and we get his chin lock back.
Yeah.
3 minutes of chin lock.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah. But I mean, I've always thought it's been a bit. I mean, I wasn't massive on him for a while, but I mean, at the moment, I do quite enjoy seeing him. And I mean, if anyone's going to be like pushed as a big baby face, I'd rather it was Orton than like people like Sheamus and Cena, really, whose characters are just terrible. I mean, and even Del Rio's getting a bit more like the Mexican John Cena, and Mexican Sheamus, really. But I mean, it was an okay match, I think. Yeah, so I don't know. It's interesting though whether, because I feel that there's obviously been strong rumours that he's going to turn heel, but when exactly this will happen? I mean, they're making massive points to mention that Orton really needs to win the Royal Rumble. That
could be the reasoning behind the turn eventually. I've got a feeling you could see him snap the Raw just after the Rumble next week. To be honest.
I think possibly it might be more around Mania, because I think just from what's going on, what I feel is going to happen is going to be the Shield versus Ryback, Orton, and Miz possibly at Mania. I reckon that's what they might do, and then possibly Randy Orton turning there, maybe helping him. And then I don't think, like you were saying last week, Dan, with him maybe joining the Shield or something like that. Maybe they could go towards that. I think he might just help them win, but not go with them. I mean, it's probably a long shot and it probably won't happen, but I could see the seeds of something like that happen. Yeah, and I would like something like that. I mean, ideally, I'd like the Shield to get a victory over Ryback. I think it's stupid having like the Miz being beaten by the Shield, because it doesn't end anything. Like with the TLC ones, Ryback didn't get pinned, so it can continue between them. Where like in just wrestling lore, the feud could then end if Ryback gets beaten. But I don't think he will, and I don't think they'll let that happen. And this probably whole match or storyline won't happen, but that is what I'd hope to see. But yeah.
The only thing I've got to say about that is that if it happens at WrestleMania, I think it'll be a little bit lost in the pack. I think they'll want it to make more of an impact, which I think if he turns on Raw, they can build into WrestleMania with him as a heel. But like you say, the WrestleMania angle sounds pretty brilliant.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Just worried it'll get lost in the shuffle, because you're going to have like 3 or 4 major matches at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Would it be wasted at WrestleMania?
But possibly, he could turn, and then, there's the questions, why did he do that kind of thing, and then that could be more drawn out over the weeks on TV or something. It's like, whether is he with the Shield or isn't he, and then it turns out he's not, and they can get a few weeks out of that probably. So, I mean, I think it's possible they could still do that. I mean, I think it would fit nicely on there. I mean, it's you want lots of things on WrestleMania, because I think the crowd would love that, especially at WrestleMania, because I imagine they're going to be quite
pop.
Yeah,
they don't want it to get a big pop.
Yeah, but I mean, I think you've got to play to the crowd. I mean, if they have Ryback go over the Shield, especially at WrestleMania, I don't think that's going to be met with many cheers, to be honest.
I agree.
Because I think they'll be quite anti-Ryback, and then if he's beaten, the top new guys, really, it's going to be. I think they've got to think about stuff like that, because look what the harm it did to Sheamus. They just got to be intelligent about it and not thinking what they want. I mean, I suppose it's Vince's mentality, isn't it? It's what he wants,
Yeah.
Doesn't
I
really-
think though, if you'd have said to me back at Survivor Series when the Shield debuted, if you'd have said to me Ryback won't beat them until WrestleMania, I'd
Yeah.
have bit your hand off of that.
Yeah. It'll be. Yeah, I suppose it's what they do until then. I mean, maybe he could get some kind of multi-man victory or something at Elimination Chamber or something like that, and that keeps it going, maybe. But I suppose he's got to get a win somewhere. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. Maybe it'll culminate at Royal Rumble. I mean, who knows? But I suppose moving on, we better talk about Ziggler and Miz now.
Yeah, I thought Dolph and Miz had a really good match. I thought it was a good TV match. I'd say it was match of the night.
Yeah.
Dolph's just on fire right now,
Yeah.
I think.
Very good, yeah.
If Flair has supposedly passed on the figure four to the Miz, he probably should have taught him how to apply it first.
Yeah,
Or at least offered some sort of instruction manual, because that looked terrible.
that did. He did botch that completely, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Which is, oh dear. I think I read that during the, the break, one of the commercial breaks, that on the Raw Active thing, Matt Striker interviewed him about that. And like Matt Striker said to him, "Oh, it looks like you had some trouble putting it on," and they turned it into a bit of a storyline where Miz was like, "Yeah, I'll have to, learn to try and become to master it as much as Flair did, or something like that, so he can keep his legacy going." But I mean, if any,
Did you say this was on the show? Did you say
it was during the commercial. It was on the Raw app. They have what happens in the commercials.
Oh yeah,
On there.
I didn't see that. I've got to be honest.
No, I didn't. I just read about it. I'm not going to watch that crap during the break. I mean, God, that was bad enough getting
If
through
you watch
this.
the Raw Active app, do you actually get to watch 3 hours of Raw?
I doubt it. Well, maybe.
No,
I don't know.
that's-
Who knows? But what I took it to be is it's just they put on what happens when it's not on TV. But I don't know, and it's live. I'm not sure, but yeah. So yeah, if anyone was going to take the figure four from Flair, I wouldn't have had Miz do it. I mean, much more Ziggler than Flair, Ziggler than Miz. But I mean,
Yeah, I agree, and not just for the white hair.
yeah. It's just he's got the more character for it, whereas Miz is just a massive shitbag.
I think it'll help him get over though. It's a crowd popping spot. I think
Yeah,
every time he does it, they'll pop. So
I think again though, with a smart crowd or a smarter, a pinnacle of a smart crowd, they're gonna shit all over him for it.
yeah, he will get booed in the
Yeah.
smarky cities, definitely.
Yeah. So I mean, again with WWE, they don't do people favors. Like, I think it might hinder him at stages. I mean, because certainly I'm angry about it.
Yeah, but I think if you look at it on the surface, if any wrestler takes a move off Ric Flair, you got to look at it as doing him a favour, really. I mean,
Yeah.
not to us and the more hardcore fans, but for the casuals, Miz
Yeah.
will now always have that figure four, in my
Yeah.
opinion, anyway.
Yeah, to be fair, a lot of the younger fans probably now think Miz invented that move. So,
Probably think Ric Flair is Dolph Ziggler's dad or something.
yeah. Anyway, yeah, that was a good match. Definitely, I agree with you being at match tonight. So then, yeah, Sheamus versus Mr.
Sheamus versus just above average Wade Barrett.
Yeah.
It was, to be honest, it's a bit of a cliche, but it was just above average.
Yeah. Again. Yeah. I mean.
I think one thing I noticed watching the match, I think they with about 2 minutes left, I think they'd done everything they'd planned to do, and they
Yeah.
were just stalling completely.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
They'd done it. They rushed through it too quickly, in my opinion. There were 2 minutes left. Sheamus was beating his chest for the bro kick, which absolutely makes no sense in a match where you got to beat the clock,
Yeah.
beat
Yeah.
your chest.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was kind of nice that Ziggler kind of came down with Big E and AJ. I thought it was a nice idea. I don't think I've seen anything like that before, where the current winner of the Beat the Clock, where he's risk at losing it, comes down with people to interfere.
Yeah, I can't recall that happening.
No.
That was pretty good.
So that was something different. Yeah, so I mean, it's just Sheamus being stupid. It's like he's only got a few seconds, and he's going to start looking at AJ and say, "What are you doing? Well, what do you think he's doing?" And I don't know. It's just, I don't know. If I believed exactly, I mean, if I was someone who believed like a little more was real, what was going on, I would never cheer for someone like Sheamus for being so stupid. It's just, even if I was a child, I'd be like, "What are you doing, you stupid Irish prick?"
That's it, isn't it? He is Irish at the end of the day. Oh God, we've done Mexicans. Now we're on to Irish people.
Yeah. Well, let's leave that there.
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah. Anyway, right. In conclusion to the beat the clock discussion,
yeah,
I'd just like to say that I think when you got a beat the clock challenge and the clock is counting down on the Tron, I think it helps to the atmosphere of the match because the crowd know when a finish is coming and they know that the pace is going to quicken at a certain point.
yeah,
And it gives a reason for the match to play out how it does.
yeah,
And everything builds for a logical reason towards a point.
yeah. I do like the gimmick of it. I think it works well. Something different, and I think
agree.
the last time I think we saw it was when Bryan became #1 contender at the WWE Championship for the over the limit match with Punk. And this, I think that the longer, well, I suppose it doesn't matter about the length of the Raw, but it being 3 hours, they had longer matches because I remember Bryan won in like 3 minutes against Lawler.
The one thing I didn't like about it is that when, like for instance, you had Ryback versus Heath Slater. They're both in the Royal Rumble. Why weren't they in the Beat the Clock Challenge?
Yeah, it is weird. Yeah, it doesn't make much sense why it's only them 3 matches.
It would have been good if they could have had like some qualifying matches on SmackDown last week or something.
Yeah.
You know, just to put a reason why only certain people were in it. But
yeah. Make it a bigger tournament. Yeah, I think that'd have been a much better idea. Yeah, I think you're right there. Certainly would have been more interesting than, just announcing it on the night wherever they just say, they could have turned it into a big thing. They could have even started weeks ago.
Yeah, and they didn't even say that they'd been drawn at random earlier or anything.
No, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so after the match, Ziggler's backstage rubbing it in Vicky's face, and then she says, no, you not picking 30 or whatever one you want, you've got to pick between 1 and 2, which I thought was just pathetic thing to do.
It's probably quite good that it wasn't drawn out.
Yeah.
With that payoff at the end there.
Yeah. I think it's just such a stupid rule, and I suppose they made the point it was supposed to be that Vicky's pissed off with Ziggler, so she's then added this stipulation that was only 1 and 2, but it's stupid for, on an entire show, someone's been fighting for this, and now it's, 1 and 2. Maybe it'll be good in the long run, because I'm glad Ziggler is in that early, but, yeah, I just thought it was pretty stupid. But, yeah.
Right then, the final segment, which included a promo from John Cena, which I'm sure we're going to talk about in a minute, and a mass microphone session brawl thing, where obviously they'd got a job lot of microphones, because everyone had one.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
I didn't mind seeing his promo that much for his standards. I thought some of it...
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
It was quite bizarre, really, how he was just stringing off these tangents about that, like the woman and the chap in the front. And I mean, he didn't go for like more obvious jokes in his he just didn't say penis or something like that. Like when he said, he said, what did he say? You wake up in your own in bodily fluids. Some of them.
That's a nice Be a Star segment, really, to be honest.
But I mean, it wasn't
someone for their appearance.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think he was like doing it in a bullying way.
Of course not, no.
I mean, for his standards, I thought that was all right. I mean, you still have little bits which are a bit stupid, but I didn't hate it. I thought.
Well, I've got to be honest. I do disagree, and on my notes, which I'm reading right now. The line about the promo I have is typical Cena, cheesy, corny, and full of shit.
Yeah.
And on my notes, I've got cringeworthy, irritating, stupid jokes.
There you go. I think there's a majority here, Ryan. But
okay, well, I'll just stop smoking my crack pipe. Well,
no, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
You can't, it wasn't the worst Cena promo.
I mean, he didn't. Maybe I was just glad he didn't say poopy or something like that. I mean,
no, he didn't. That's true.
Yeah, it just seemed less forced.
I thought the Call of Duty bit was tragic. I thought it was like,
oh yeah, skid mark.
Please love me. I play Call of Duty.
Yeah, I forgot about that bit. Actually, that was pretty bad. Skid mark 187. I think he said his name was on there.
Yeah, that was it.
The worst thing is you've remembered the actual username.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Just a little piece on the fact that this segment was in the main event. Looking back now, I can see why it really had to be in the main event because of the Vince and Punk angle beforehand. But with the segment in the main event, I think it was an attempt to prove to everyone that we do still care about the Royal Rumble. We're not just building towards Rock Punk.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was really needed in the main event. I think the fact that the WWE title is now relevant again, that's a big enough selling point for the Royal Rumble without having to push the Royal Rumble match, which everyone knows is going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that the WWE title is in the main event, it's as if they've got it in the main event and they didn't want to use it as a main selling point for the show on the last episode, building towards it.
Yeah.
I was definitely expecting some sort of final verbal exchange between Punk and Rock. So I was pretty surprised when they went with the Rumble push at the end.
I'm amazed that the pull-apart brawl wasn't this week, to be honest.
Yeah.
That'd been a good way to go to the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think it, like, on this show, I think it didn't hurt, like, Rock Cena bit not being at the end.
No, yeah, that's right. I have got that on my notes that it didn't hurt the Rock Cena angle.
Because
Rock Punk.
I mean, it did like go on through the whole show really, just up until the end. I mean, it was more. It wasn't like they just came out and did a promo at the end and that was it. It was more where there had to be like a story throughout the show with them. I mean, yeah, I could see why the pull-apart brawl could have been the last thing they did. But
I think though to end with Rock and Punk, to get the Shield stipulation in, you'd have had to have ended with that little backstage promo by Vince, which wouldn't have really ended the show on any sort of note that it should have done. So, do you see what I mean there?
Yeah.
Because if you'd have ended the show with the Shield beating down Rock, you wouldn't have been able to get the Vince segment in maybe until on the undercard of the Royal Rumble or something.
Yeah.
But that's not really the end of the world that it's in the main event segment, is it? The pay-per-view is called the Royal Rumble, I suppose, after all.
I suppose from that thinking, though, that people are probably maybe more sold on it more to hopefully see, in their minds, Rock beat Punk, because now they know the Shield can't be involved. And we'll put it this way, I don't think people are going to be less likely to buy it just because Rock and Punk weren't in the last segment. I think there was some good stuff in this show for them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think it hurts it at all.
And it meant that the primetime players are in the main event segment.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
And free MB.
Yeah. I hated that bit.
I think it's amazing that the last man we heard from on the mic was actually Jinder Mahal.
Yeah. I just hate that kind of thing. Oh, Cena said he's going to win the Rumble, and then everyone else just goes, no, I'm going to win it.
It makes it seem fake.
I know, it's just so
I don't like to use the word
stupid.
fake because that's a horrible term, but
yeah,
a procession of people coming out from the back with entrances and all with a microphone seconds after each other.
Yeah.
It kills your disbelief.
Saying I'm going to win.
Disbelief of it. It's a bit cliche.
Yeah, it's just childish, really, isn't it? I don't know. It's just, these people are so insecure that someone said they're going to win the Rumble that they all have to come out and say, no, I'm going to win it. And I don't know, it's so unnecessary. I don't know. You can see why so many people just don't want to watch WWE. I mean, I don't want to watch it a lot of the time, but I do. I don't know why, but
well, you're an esteemed podcaster now. You got it.
Oh yeah. I do wish I could have skipped bits. For my podcast integrity, I feel I can't skip bits, and no wonder I was depressed after watching this Raw. I just
the
had
only
to sit
thing
through.
I skipped the Martin Luther King promos.
Oh, you bastard!
Because I don't care, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I did skip that as well. Actually, come to think of it.
Right. Is there anything else? Any of the other little less important segments you want to run down, Ryan?
Yeah. I mean, we had Big Show beat Ryder in about 30 seconds, a minute. Which I was pleased about, to be honest. I don't care about Ryder. And what was interesting there, Maddox, Brandon. What is it again? Sutton Maddox? I forgot.
Brad.
It is Brad. Okay. I nearly said Brandon, and I was thinking of Brandon
CM
Walker.
Punk calls him Brad Maddox.
Yeah. He come down through the crowd again. He don't work there, but he just comes to sit on commentary.
No security or nothing.
Yeah. So yeah, he did that. I mean, the match was over pretty much before he sat down. So I mean, didn't seem very much point on that. Then we had Ryback beat Heath Slater. Most interesting thing about this is I thought that Ryback had his weakest reaction since he started his program with Punk. They really weren't that bothered. If he didn't have "Feed Me More," he wouldn't be anywhere. I don't think. I mean,
no, I think that is a catchphrase, and that catchphrase will stick. I think, but
yeah. And then he had a little promo, and I thank God they've stopped the whole eating analogy things.
Yeah,
because that was just bad. We also had the anger management graduation segment.
I enjoyed that. I thought it was light-hearted fun.
I like Brian's hair
quite
slicked back. That was good. But yeah, that was all right. That was quite not what he's seeing everyone hug.
Daniel Bryan's hair. What was that about? Like an evil vampire. Not that you can really have a good vampire, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Obviously not a Twilight fan then.
What's Twilight?
Yeah, good answer. Not that I've seen it. Just the first one. It was terrible. Anyway. Yeah. So. I didn't notice that the guy who saved Jerry Lawler's life was out there. Which is he now have to sit next to Jerry Lawler all the time? I don't know what's going on with that. I never noticed him
there all along.
Yeah,
I think just the first time he's been mentioned.
Yeah, I mean I can't remember ever noticing him, but I mean I don't know if he was out there before or if this is just in reaction to Jerry Lawler's heart attack that he's got to be out there in case something happens to him again, or I don't know.
Well, I think he was there when King had the heart attack. So
yeah, maybe if Lillian Garcia gets knocked off the apron by Charlie Haas again or something, if he just runs in.
That, and then we had Alberto Del Rio versus Lord Tensai, or just Tensai.
What I'd like to say is Del Rio, I think, beat Tensai by the way of ramming his Mexicanness down his throat. I think that's how he got the fit pin, wasn't it? But yeah,
I can't see how his gimmick will work across all of America, because at some point he's going to meet a crowd and they're going to think like, hang on a minute, we don't particularly like Mexicans.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's just embarrassing. It's not even trying to be subtle. It's just.
He's ramming his Mexicanness down your throat.
Like if they did that with.
Honest, I don't really mind Del Rio. I can look past the fact that that he loves ramming it down our throats, but I think he's going to be a pretty decent babyface. I think he got a very good reaction.
Yeah. I think a lot of that is just newness with his being the world champion, I think.
Yeah, possibly.
I'll be surprised if he sustains.
He's got Ricardo in his favour, though. I think he's he gets a reaction.
Yeah.
And especially now he's going to take on the CCC. I think that's going to work well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's very good. I mean, it's just it's like what they did with AJ. They were trying to transfer Brian's catchphrase onto her, and it's just like I don't know. I don't like it too much. It's just I don't know. It's like manipulation by WWE. It's like this guy's got a catchphrase, but we want to move it onto a guy we want to push.
Now he's a good guy. Is he scared to drive his cars? Because his cars haven't been seen since he turned. He just now used as a normal entrance.
Yeah, I think obviously they just don't want people to. I don't know how. I think they think that people won't cheer for him if he's in really expensive
because he's driving a Bentley.
Yeah, I don't think that really does matter.
I think they just want to try and move away from the sort of rich, snobbish sort of way he was.
Yeah.
Let's try and ease it out a little bit.
Yeah. So Del Rio actually, I remembered he did actually pin Tensai with a second rope moonsault.
He actually. It was quite a devastating moonsault. He hit his right arm with his head.
Yeah. It looked bad. I mean, he can do high flying stuff from his time in Mexico. He was,
I suppose they're taking the cross arm breaker away from him because it's a bit of a heelish move, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I wish I expect he'll keep that as well, but I don't know why he's doing the moonsault from the second rope. It just. doesn't really make much sense. Effectively, a kind of harder, well, not harder to do, but a more time-consuming way to do a lionsault, which doesn't have much.
Yeah.
I think Jericho invented the lionsault as a move you could hit quickly for the exact reason of not having to climb up to the second rope, like in the corner. You could just hit it out of nowhere. I don't know. So it doesn't make any sense. I mean, but get him to do a second rope moonsault when someone like Pac comes along. I mean, I don't know how you're going to get people to like Del Rio's finisher when Pac's doing a shooting star for like 360 his move. But I mean, it's just a very unimpressive finisher.
I agree. I don't know if it'll stick. To be honest,
No.
I don't think. I think it'll turn into more of a signature high spot for him than a finisher.
Yeah, it should do.
I think they've just done that so he can use it to. They've got it across as a finisher if need be.
Yeah, just weird. I don't understand it, but yeah. So other matches had normal service was resumed with shitty Divas matches when Caitlyn beat Alicia Fox. That was terrible, I thought, and it was really short again. It just didn't. I don't know. Maybe people didn't give Eve enough credit.
A wrestler's rib sandwich in the microwave while that was going on.
Yeah.
Any comment?
No, he didn't miss much. That was pretty shocking.
I do like Caitlyn though, not for wrestling reasons, but I do like Caitlyn.
Yeah.
That's about it on my book, I believe.
Oh, and Bob Backlund was announced as the second
he was
inductee.
Bob Backlund.
Thoroughly deserved, I think.
Yeah, that's
I agree.
Yeah, nice little video package there. So, yeah.
Right then, in conclusion, what we're giving it out of 10? I've gone for a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly same here.
I've got one more, a 6 out of 10 for me, I think.
Oh, you think it's as good as last week?
I did quite enjoy it, yeah.
It was, I do know where you're coming from. I think all 3 beat the clock matches were enjoyable, and I did, obviously, I did enjoy all 3 matches, but the rest of the show was not up to scratch for me.
No.
I personally enjoyed the Rock and Punk feud, so considering that took up the bulk of the show, I think 6 out of 10. Yeah, I'll go with that 6 out of 10.
So then, what do you reckon, Ryan?
Yeah, 5 out of 10. I agree with you.
5 out of 10. So we were around sort of mid-range. It was a solid. It wasn't spectacular by any means, but it was solid enough. It wasn't a train wreck.
Yeah, there was some good bits there, but it was countered by some bad bits. So
Right then, we're in for a treat now. You really are in for a proper treat now. Himpy's only gone and done a bloody item. It's time for Ring of Himpy.
Ring of Himpy. Ring of Himpy. Ring of Himpy.
Himpy, what did you think of this week's Ring of Honor TV show?
Didn't watch it.
Ring of Himpy. Ring of Himpy. Ring of Himpy.
Cheers for that then, Himpy. Swiftly moving on. Ryan's Royal Ramblings. I'm now going to introduce you for an item by Mr. Ryan Palmer.
Thank you, Daniel. Yes, so in Ryan's Royal Ramblings, we'll be going through our predicted winner for the Royal Rumble, also our outside shot and what we'd like to happen for the Royal Rumble match. So I'll start with you, Dan. So who do you think's going to win this?
I think John Cena will win the Royal Rumble. I just think the company wants Rock versus Cena at WrestleMania. And I think as much as no one wants to see it, I think we'll get it somehow. But I'm not saying that. That doesn't mean that I'm going to say that Rock will beat Punk at the Rumble. I think Rock might get the title at the Elimination Chamber, and then that'll lead to Cena versus Rock 2 at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Okay. Himpy, would you go along with John Cena, or do you think it'll be anyone else?
Yeah, I can't see anyone but Cena, to be honest. yeah, no one else stands out. I think Cena's nailed on, to be honest.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I can't. He seems like the only person that could win it. So, yeah. Well, moving on. Is there anyone we think could possibly win it if it's not going to be John Cena? Say, I don't know. I don't know why, but
I think Dolph Ziggler is an outside bet.
Yeah.
I think he'll. If he does win it, I would like to see him go on and challenge Del Rio at WrestleMania, and I wouldn't be against him losing the match and then cashing in Money in the Bank straight afterwards, after Big E has come in and flattened Del Rio. I think that would be a good little...
That's quite a good idea. I quite like that.
Yeah.
Way of getting around the double Royal Rumble Money in the Bank situation, because really, it's illogical that he's in the Rumble when he's got a shot whenever he wants one. But
yeah, well, I think they explained it on Raw. Sorry to interrupt, but they said that Ziggler wanted to. He had his Money in the Bank contract, which he would cash in at some point, and then he was going to win the Royal Rumble and challenge the WWE champion. So he was hoping to have both of them after Mania or something like that.
I think the Del Rio and Ziggler WrestleMania scenario, I wouldn't be against it entirely, but I think it would make Ziggler look pretty weak that he needs 2 shots to win a title.
Yeah. Okay.
And an enforcer coming in and beating Del Rio to a pulp.
Yeah, okay. Hibby, have you got anyone you think possibly an outside shot?
No, to be honest.
No.
I'm expecting a big performance from Ziggler. I think he might go right towards the end, but
yeah,
I can't see anyone Cena winning it, sadly.
Yeah, they do usually have someone who's in there for 45 minutes or something if they're not winning it.
I agree.
Like Miz was last year, wasn't he? He was in it the longest for about 40 minutes, something like that.
It was 40 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, so if I was pushed to an outside shot, I'd possibly go for someone like Sheamus, just for the fact of someone else to get in on the world title scene. I mean, I don't think it'll happen, but I think he's the most likely guy outside John Cena. Just gets him back in the world title scene, and I'm sure they want a big match, what they perceive as a big match for the world title. So I don't know, could be Sheamus, Ziggler or something at the WrestleMania, or I don't know. They did rumour Orton, Sheamus, but yeah, he's the only guy I can see. Well, I don't think he will, but he's the only other person I think might be an outsider. And then I suppose Ryback, but I think he'll be involved with the Shield, possibly at Mania. When Big Show did have it, I did think Ryback would possibly win the Rumble and face Big Show at Mania, but obviously that's not happening.
I think Big Show losing the belt has put an end to Ryback winning the Rumble.
Yeah, unless he wins it back, but again, I can't see that happening to...
Nah, that would be pointless for Del Rio then.
Yeah, unless they have someone cost him, maybe they want to... I don't know. Maybe they just want to put the title on him short term and get him some credibility as babyface early on. But I think they will keep it on him, and then I expect Ziggler will take it off him at some point. But yeah, we'll see. Right, now let's say who we'd like to see win the Rumble. Don't know if we'll have too many differences here. Maybe a few. Dan, what would you say?
I would love to see Daniel Bryan win the Rumble, but that's never going to happen, I don't think, sadly.
Yeah.
In terms of the match, what I would like to see, I'd like to see Dolph go all the way through to the final 2 from number 1.
Yeah.
And I would like to see Bryan come in at number 2, and then they could build a match around the interactions between Dolph and Bryan, and they could have a match within a match, sort of.
Yeah.
And I think them two they're obviously good enough to hold the match together, and I think they've both got the stamina to keep up a good pace. They're not gonna tire.
Yeah. That sounds like a really good idea. I'd like to see that too. Himpy, have you got anyone you'd like in particular to win?
No, not really.
No.
Not from who's in it. I'd like to see Ziggler go to the end, like Dan said, but Cena's going to win it.
Yeah.
When Ziggler gets eliminated, I'm hoping to see a spectacular sell job, to be honest. I think I'd like to see him bro kicked into the 8th row or something.
I think a big exit's pretty much guaranteed, yeah.
Yeah, he will do something like that, I'm sure. I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting
Just quickly going back to Daniel Bryan,
Yeah.
I think an idea that I've thought that we might see is that he might get eliminated by Kane, setting up a feud potentially going into Mania if they want. But I think I wouldn't be against that. I think Bryan and Kane, I think it's going to happen at Mania, I think Bryan will be the face as well.
All right, yeah. I've got some stuff I want to say that. Bryan would be who I'd like to see win, obviously. I think he deserves it. And, he's my personal favourite. So I'd like to see him win. I even have some ideas about how I'd like to see it happen. Because on the card they have Team Hell No defending the titles against the Road Scholars. I'd like to see them. I think if they could lose it to Road Scholars, maybe with Bryan just like turning his back on Kane or something like that, or even possibly them just losing generally, like without anyone like Bryan walking out or something, and then they go in the Rumble, and then actually I'd like Kane to Bryan to like turn on Kane, and then he comes back out for the Rumble and he's shaved off all his hair on his head and his beard, and it's like now new character kind of thing.
This is just a fantasy now.
Oh God, yeah, it's not going to happen. I mean, that is just what I'd like to happen, and then he's back to a more. And it could play into what Punk said about him, where he feels he likes. Well, I don't know how he really thinks this, but he said he sold out to, with catchphrases and things like that, and then go back to. I mean, he's had this kind of character for over a year now, so. I mean, I do want to see him kind of go into.
That's surprising. Over a year, it doesn't seem that long.
I mean, he started.
That's a testament to how fresh he's kept it, though.
Yeah, exactly. I'd love to see him. He could always come back to something like this. I think and he would go in as a heel.
This is a go-to gimmick.
And I'd like to just see him really serious, and they book him as like dangerous. I'd love to just see him like tap people out to a wrist lock or something like weaker guys, to like build up how dangerous he could be. Because I mean, they don't push him because of. He's smaller, I suppose, is part of it. But I think that would easily, in like people's mind, if he really tried to get over how dangerous he was with submissions, people aren't going to think anything about his signs. They generally like he'd have an aura about him of being dangerous, and he could easily do that from his Ring of Honor work. I mean, where he did similar kind of stuff, and I really like to see something like that in WWE with him.
I think he's proved that he's one of the most versatile men.
Yeah.
In the game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
nothing's beyond limits. I would like to see that somewhere down the line, but I think with your scenario, just going back to that with the Road Scholars match, I think one way around it, which would play into my Kane turning on Bryan scenario, would be if, say, Bryan accidentally bumps Kane and costs him the titles, and then during the Rumble, Kane flips and eliminates Bryan, which would get Bryan over as a babyface. Yeah. And Kane would be back to a monster.
Yeah. I think to get... Because, I mean, Kane was... I can't remember what Rumble it was, but he was in tag team with RVD, and he actually turned on him and eliminated him then. I mean, I think it's kind of...
2003.
Yeah, I think it's more common that they would kind of... they will go against each other at some point, so... I mean, they might even stay together and they go against each other. I think something extra would have to happen, like maybe Bryan actually eliminate Kane, and then Kane flips and just beats the hell out of Bryan, and eliminates him while he's already eliminating, like maybe putting him for a table, the announce table or something. Where like legitimately, because I think it wouldn't necessarily get anyone over if Kane just eliminates him. Because I mean, it is every man for himself, so I expect there to be some kind of going on between them anyway. Even
I think we're gonna. I've got a strong feeling. I would put money on that we're going to see the end of Team Hell No at the Rumble.
Yeah, it's possible because I mean they seem to be drawing a line under the whole anger management thing.
As far as they can go now. I mean, they've got a magnificent amount of mileage out of basically not being friends.
Yeah.
But, now they're on the same page. I can't see anywhere they can really go.
No, I think definitely they should bring it to an end before people are really not sick of it, but really I just really want to see Bryan as singles. There was so much more length he had in his heel character, and Yeah, I would like to see Brian go back to a heel and just more of a dangerous one, but I can dream.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Right, let's wrap this thing up then, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, a massive thanks if you've made it all the way through this farce of a podcast. Join us next week and we'll be discussing the pay-per-view in itself and the fallout from it from Raw the next night. In the meantime, get in touch via the contact form at www.thedangerzonepodcast.com. You can give us a follow on Twitter at DZPodcast, and you can like us on Facebook. Just search for the Danger Zone Wrestling Podcast. We really do need to know what you think of the show. We'd love to know what you'd like to see more of, what you'd like to see less of. Any ideas for content would be greatly received and welcomed. And until next week, you've been in the Danger Zone.
I've been in the danger zone.